Barry Sonnenfeld is an American filmmaker and television director. He worked as cinematographer for the Coen brothers, then later he directed films such as The Addams Family and its sequel, Addams Family Values, along with the Men in Black trilogy, and the critically acclaimed Get Shorty. Gaspar Noé is an Argentine film director and screenwriter. He is the son of Argentinian painter, writer and intellectual Luis Felipe Noé. Noé graduated from Louis Lumiere College and is the visiting professor of film at the European Graduate School in Sicily, Switzerland. Marie-Georges Jean Emily S, known as Georges Emily S, was a French illusionist and filmmaker famous for leading many technical and narrative developments in the earliest days of cinema. Emily S, a prolific innovator in the use of special effects, accidentally discovered the substitution stop trick in 1896, and was one of the first filmmakers to use multiple exposures, time-lapse photography, dissolves, and hand-painted color in his work. David Paul Cronenberg, CCO and FRSC, is a Canadian filmmaker, screenwriter, and actor. He is one of the principal originators of what is commonly known as the body horror or venereal horror genre. This style of filmmaking explores people's fears of bodily transformation and infection. Mark Gatiss is an English actor, comedian, screenwriter and novelist. He is a member of the comedy team The League of Gentlemen alongside Reese Shearsmith, Steve Pemberton and co-writer Jeremy Dyson, and has both written for and acted in the TV series A Doctor Who and Sherlock, the latter of which he also co-created. David Watkin BSc was a British cinematographer, an innovator who was among the first directors of photography to experiment heavily with the usage of bounce light as a soft light source. He worked with such film directors as Richard Lester, Peter Brook, Tony Richardson, Mike Nichols, Ken Russell, Franco Zeffirelli, Sidney Lumet and Sidney Pollack. IYY is a film producer and film director. Andy Milligan was an American playwright, screenwriter, cinematographer, actor, film editor, producer, and director, whose work includes 27 films made between 1965 and 1988. Greg Araki is an American independent filmmaker and film director involved heavily with new queer cinema. His film Kaboom was the first ever winner of the Cannes Film Festival Queer Palm awarded in 2010. John Samuel Waters Jr. is an American film director, screenwriter, actor, stand-up comedian, journalist, visual artist, and art collector, who rose to fame in the early 1970s for his transgressive cult films. Antero Ali was born November 11, 1952, in Finland. Ali currently resides in Berkeley, California, where he conducts workshops and stages theatrical productions, some of which have been released as films. Lars von Trier is a Danish film director and screenwriter. He is closely associated with the Dog 95 collective and avant-garde filmmaking movement. Although his own films have taken a variety of approaches, Josh Dolgen, better known by his stage name So Called, is a Canadian rapper and record producer, known for his eclectic mix of hip-hop, klezmer, and other styles such as drum bass and folk music. A pianist and accordion player, he has taught the latter at Klezfest London, where he has also run workshops in Hip-Cal. Alfonso Cuarón Orozco is a Mexican film director, screenwriter, producer and editor best known for his dramas A Little Princess and Y Tu Mami Tambien, the fantasy film Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, and science fiction thrillers Children of Men and Gravity. Lee DeForest was an American inventor with over 180 patents to his credit. He named himself the father of radio, and famously said, "I discovered an invisible empire of the air, intangible, yet solid as granite." Jean-Luc Godard is a French-Swiss film director, screenwriter and film critic. He is often identified with the 1960s French film movement La Nouvelle Vague, or New Wave. Like his New Wave contemporaries, Godard criticized mainstream French cinema's tradition of quality, which emphasized craft over innovation, privileged established directors over new directors, and preferred the great works of the past to experimentation. Alan Wolf Arkin is an American actor, director, comedian, musician and singer. He is known for starring in such films as Wait Until Dark, The Russians Are Coming, The Russians Are Coming, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, Catch-22, The In-Laws, Edward Scissorhands, Glengarry Glen Ross, 13 Conversations About One Thing, Little Miss Sunshine, and Argo. Brandon Cole Bam Margera is an American professional skateboarder, actor, musician, and stunt performer. He came to prominence after appearing in MTV's Jackass crew. He has since appeared in MTV's Viva La Bam and Bam's Unholy Union, all three Jackass movies, and Haggard and Maneggs, both of which he co-wrote and directed. Ernst Ingmar Bergman was a Swedish director, writer and producer who worked in film, television, and theater. He is recognized as one of the most accomplished and influential auteurs of all time and is most famous for films such as The Seventh Seal, Wild Strawberries, Persona, Cries and Whispers, and Fanny and Alexander. Gerald Michael Rivera, better known as Geraldo Rivera, is an American attorney, news spinner, author, and talk show host. Rivera hosts the news magazine program Geraldo at Large and appears regularly on Fox News Channel. David Keith Lynch is an American film director, television director, visual artist, musician, actor, and author. Known for his surrealist films, he has developed a unique cinematic style. The surreal and, in many cases, violent elements contained within his films have been known to disturb, offend or mystify audiences. Janis Lyn Joplin was an American singer-songwriter who first rose to fame in the late 1960s as the lead singer of the psychedelic acid rock band Big Brother and the Holding Company, and later as a solo artist with her own backing groups, the Cosmic Blues Band and the Full Tilt Boogie Band. Andy Warhol was an American artist who was a leading figure in the visual art movement known as pop art. His works explore the relationship between artistic expression, celebrity culture and advertisement that flourished by the 1960s. Christopher Jonathan James Nolan is a British-American film director, screenwriter, and producer. He has created several of the most critically and commercially successful films of the early 21st century. George Walton Lucas, Jr. is an American film director, screenwriter, producer, and entrepreneur. He founded Lucasfilm and led the company as chairman and chief executive before selling it to the Walt Disney Company on October 30, 2012.